Good morning. I'd like to call the July meeting of the Oklahoma City Airport Trust. And the first item is approval of minutes from the June 26, 2014 Oklahoma City Airport Trust meeting. Second. All those in favor say aye. Oh, that way.
There you
go. Okay.
Okay, the chairman is absent for the meeting and also the vice chairman. So could I hear a motion for chairman pro tem?
I move that Trustee Greenwell be voted in as president, chairman pro tem.
Okay, all those in favor, please vote on the machine. And it's approved unanimously.
Okay,
Chairman
thank you.
Greenwell.
Thank you. All right, now the next item is the approval of the minutes. Okay, all those in favor, please vote. And it's approved. The next item is the director's report.
Which I do not have one this morning,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Very good. Next item is the Will Rogers World Airport items. And Mark, would you
Thank
please
you.
through those?
Yes, item A is to approve the plans and project manual submitted by Frankfurt Short Bruza Associates. This is for roof replacements and building repairs for the Academy headquarters, air traffic and radar training facility buildings at the Mike Monroney Aeronautical Center. We're also advertising bids to be opened on August 19th. Item B is to approve the certificate of substantial completion for the 2013 medium voltage electrical upgrades project at Mike Monroney Aeronautical Center, and we're accepting that project as complete. Item C is approving change order 1 with Conley Paving Company for the Southwest 64th Street replacement project, also at Mike Monroney Aeronautical Center. We're adding $34,107.10 in 8 calendar days to the project. Item D is to approve the certificate of substantial completion for the Hangar 1 boiler replacement project for Johnson Controls Incorporated. We're also accepting that project. Item E is to concur with the Airport Staff Selection Committee's recommendation on the proposals received for the Consolidated Rental Car Facility Shuttle Bus Operations and Maintenance contract with the Trust, and we're asking the Trust to negotiate a management contract with First Transit Incorporated. I know there's someone that wants to speak this morning on this item, so Mr. Chair, I would just say we might as well hear that item now rather than go through the rest of the slate, if that's okay with you.
Yes, thank you. We have Mr. Foshee. And Mr. Foshee, would you mind providing your name and address for the record, please?
Jerry Foshee, Oklahoma City resident, 2141 Crossgate Road. I represent Red Carpet Bus Transport. The actual name that it listed, that's one of the names that's involved in this. We're asking you to reconsider whether or not you select them versus First Transit. And I've given you some discussion issues that is there's only 1.6, actually 1.5, my math wasn't really good, difference between the first and the second, between Red Carpet and a Michigan-based company out of state. I think some consideration should be given to the fact that Red Carpet is a locally owned, has been in existence for 29 years. It has invested heavily within the community. It already has people here who are paying property taxes, sales taxes, have operated and supported our schools, have been involved in the MAPS projects. And talking to one of our CEOs, we were told, especially during the MAPS vote, which they highly supported, hey, this is going to create jobs. But now, if it's, the airport has done well. And part of that is because of all the MAPS projects, we've become finally a destination place and not just a stopover place. But now, once we're creating jobs, it seems like we're giving these jobs out to out-of-state people. Red Carpet is here. Their facility is 2.2 miles from the very part they're just shuttling. And Transit is an out-of-state company. Red Carpet deals more with complex issues than Transit does. I mean, we're talking about a shuttle that's covering about, what, 2 miles? Red Carpet deals with a lot of problems. They've already got staffing. They've already got a facility here. Also, one of the considerations that the group made was said, oh, well, they'll be able to do in-house management of the buses and take care of it. Red Carpet's already doing that. And we don't need to build a facility. You know, I think the people are going to look at this vote, and they're going to look at it real hard, because it is going to come to the people, and they're going to ask you, who are you going to support? Oklahomans who live and work here, when there's a 1.6 difference between the people you're hiring and Red Carpet, they're going to ask you why you didn't support Oklahoma citizens who are already here, who've invested in this state. You know, basically, the selection committee, we invited them to come over and look. They could have came over. We did it in writing. They could have looked at our facility. We asked them to come and look at our facility, both in writing and by phone. They decided not to do it. If Red Carpet isn't experienced, I'd hate to see a company that is experienced. It's got one of the highest ratings for any bus company in the southwest part of the United States. It is a situation where Red Carpet has grown from the ground up and employs citizens in the Oklahoma City area. I can't understand on 1.6, there ought to be some consideration given for local people. I'm asking you to reconsider this, to look. Also, if you'll check, this First Transit is a very, very large busing group. We have the buses available, but if you check with their sister organizations, there's been performance standards where their contracts have been canceled because of poor performance. Red Carpet has never had a contract canceled for poor performance. I'm asking you to look at this again. I'm sorry about my informal attire, but I had a motorcycle accident, and fat people aren't supposed to bounce on concrete. But I will tell you this vote is going to be looked at very seriously. And the citizens are going to look at it seriously. And it will come to the attention of the citizens on that if you take an out-of-state company with this much of a differential, and if anybody, I know, statistics, I nearly failed it in college, 1.6, that's a tie, folks. Because you can't justify 1.6 difference. You can ask any statistical person around, it's a tie. And to not take your local provider when they're evenly matched, to me, is insane. So I'm asking you to review this again and reconsider the person that you're going to appoint on this issue. Thank you very much. You have questions?
I do have one question at this point in time. Do you believe that there may be information that the committee did not have access to at the time that they made their decision?
Yes, I do. We sent out a thing and...
Okay, excuse me. With this being a public meeting, maybe this isn't the best forum to... I just needed that information from you. So let me call on Mr. Clowers. Would you kind of brief everybody as to the process? Because this is not a formal bid request. It's a little bit different than a bid request, because in a bid situation, there would be an official time to file a protest. But this is a request for proposal, which doesn't provide for a formal process like that. So, Mr. Clowers, could you explain the process that the committee did go through in reaching their decision?
Sure, I'd be glad to. I was not involved in that process. The city, outsources all kinds of services, whether it's professional design services with architects and engineers, trash collection, outside legal counsel, whatever. But every time that we do that, we go through a process, and such was the case with this. A 5-member selection committee was named that consisted of people from the director's office, the assistant director, finance person, I think 2 people from business and property, and one person from the maintenance division. The RFP was prepared and was sent out to, I believe, 9 companies. Staff received responses from 5 of those 9. The 5 were shortlisted down to 3. The 2 that were eliminated were for various reasons. I think one was invalid or incomplete information in their proposal, and the other one was that their cost was significantly higher than the others. But the 3 were interviewed, had personal interviews conducted. I think they were an hour each. At the end of the interviews, the selection committee felt like they needed some additional information, so they requested that information from the 3 firms, and the 3 firms were given, I believe, 30 days to send that additional information back in. Once that was received, selection committee went through their process to score the the proposers, and the scores, I don't know that they necessarily were going to go to the high score, but they did in this case. So that was where the selection came from. Again, we go through very well thought out processes anytime we select any consultant or other type of vendor, and such was the case with this, and my thought is that we need to respect the process.
Okay, thank you very much.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, first of all, in the recommendation memorandum stated that First Transit provides in-house maintenance for their operation. Exactly what does that mean? And Red Carpet does the same thing, yet 1.6, they were marked down for that. Also, the RFP, like you say, Mr. Clowers, typically during contract negotiations, that follows final pricings and other minor concerns. Will you agree with me that 1.6 differential is virtually a tie, statistically?
Mr. Foshi, excuse me, we're not in a situation where we're going to respond to questions. I mean, we'll certainly welcome you with your comments. And
I just like that answered. I don't care who answers it.
Yes, sir. No, I understand. But this is not the format for that.
When would be the format, Mr. Greenwell? This is the last chance we get.
Okay, and I'm leading up to a point, if I may finish.
Okay.
The fact that this is not a bid and we do not provide for a formal protest period, and what I was informed of this morning, this will not go to City Council for a concurrence approval. So this is really the final opportunity to support, or not support the committee's recommendations. And I do want to concur with Mr. Clowers' comments that I do think that the committee did a good job. I don't want to give any impressions that it didn't do a fair and equitable type review of this process. But the fact that we do not have a formal protest opportunity, I would consider postponing this one item until the information that Mr. Foshi believes was not made available to the committee at least be reviewed, and then it could be brought back to our trust board at the next meeting.
That would be agreeable. That would at least give us a chance to answer some of this.
So I'm looking to the trust as far as whether or not they wanted to pull this item, vote on it separately, or keep it as part of the total items.
The reason why I think that is a good thing is that there was some question considering whether or not there were some questions concerning the capability to maintain satisfactory standards of employees, competency, conduct, and appearance training and integrity, which is listed in Category 3. And at that time, we had invited the selection committee to visit the Red Carpet facility, both in writing and by phone, and they didn't do it. So if we're given an opportunity, we could at least provide them with a memorandum of what we do to cover those areas. We thought by inviting them to actually attend the facility, which is 2 miles away, they would have a hands-on approach and could see it more clearly. So we could provide more information than that, and just that one category would move us up into the first place, I think.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Foshee. Any other comments?
No, that's just about it.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Do we have anybody else here wanting to speak on this matter? Yes, sir.
Good morning. My name is Jeremy. I'm with First Transit. I would just like to share with the committee that this was a very intensive process, and during these procurement processes, with all respect to all vendors, whether it be his organization, our organization, or any of the other 9 that was submitted, each of us is given an unlimited opportunity to submit our documentation within the confines of the RFP. A lot of times committees don't tour facilities. That's not an uncommon thing. We do hundreds of procurements a year, and typically you don't see people go to facilities because by doing so, it doesn't treat everybody equally. And what they're asking for is a little bit inappropriate because they're trying to say, well, we don't like the result. We'll come out and we want to show you something different to change our score. And that's a little bit of an unfair advantage to anybody within the procurement process. First Transit is the largest single provider of consolidated rent-a-car transportation systems in the United States. We've run Houston Intercontinental's transportation system since 2003. We run Kansas City. We run Chicago Midway, and as well as we run Las Vegas McCarran Airport. Each of these facilities is top performing. Any of our references will demonstrate that. We are currently doing business in the Oklahoma City area for your sanitation trust. We've been here a long time, and we've continued to get our extensions on our contract. The rental industry does define themselves by the services that they deliver to their customers. While this can be a local concern, it's a national concern. The rental industry wants a cohesive service system that the providers understand and execute on a high level of performance. So I just ask that you take that into strong consideration, that having a dedicated provider that has a long history and proven track record of experience is a crucial component of this addition to your airport. With that, appreciate it.
Thank you.
10 seconds, okay?
Yes, sir.
Red Carpet's been in existence for 29. The reason why they don't want their facility inspected, they don't have one here. We do. And I think that makes a big difference. I would compare our performance standards against theirs any day of the week. It's still a tie. 1.6 is a tie.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay. So before we move on to the other items, or why don't we continue with the items?
Let me go through the rest
Yes.
of Will Rogers,
Yes.
and we'll approve the slate of Will Rogers with the exception of this item, and then we can come back and address it separately if you like.
Yes, sir. I think that's the appropriate.
Going on, then, item F is to approve the plans and project manual by Frankfurt Short Bruza for the 100% capacity power generation system for the terminal building and the pedestrian tunnel. We're advertising bids to be open on August the 26th. Item G is approving the plans and project manual submitted by Frankfurt Short Bruza Associates for the terminal high bay roof replacement project, also advertising bids to be open on August the 19th. Item H is approving amendment number 4 to the contract for professional services with C.H. Guernsey and Company for the consolidated rental car facility, and we're adding $367,000 to their A&E contract. And last item, I is to approve the letter of agreement between the Oklahoma Natural Gas Company and the Airport Trust for the relocation of a portion of a gas line associated with South Meridian Avenue for $9,921. So we're asking for approval of items A through I with the exception of item E at this time.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Please vote. Motion passes. Now we'll go back to item E, the rental car shuttle bus operations. And do I have a motion on that? Yes, sir.
And I don't know how to actually put a motion together for this, because my thoughts on such a thing is I've done a number of bids and proposals. And if you don't respect the process, then you have an issue for any proposals down the line that you put out. And so I have kind of an issue of anytime there is a protest. We've as a company that I own, we've done protests and so forth, but if you don't respect the process, then you can never have anything that you can count on. So I don't know how we can change the process and then respect that process at the same time.
Yes, Jerry. Thank you. Any other comments?
I concur with Trustee Simons, and I appreciate Mr. Foshi's comments in representing his client. I'm going to move that we approve item E as presented.
Okay. Is there a second? Okay. One final comment before we do vote. Terry's comments are spot on. I think we do need to recognize the process that was utilized in this decision and respect that. Otherwise, it does open us up for problems in the future. However, the fact that we do not have a formalized protest opportunity, given the nature of this situation, and just to err on the conservative side as far as being transparent, making aware that all facts were fully available to the committee. If Mr. Foshi, and I have no reason to believe that he wouldn't tell us anything that's true, if he believes that not all the facts were made available to the committee, I would personally prefer to postpone this for the next meeting, just to give them an opportunity to present what they believe were facts that were not presented to the committee at the time they made the evaluation. So with that in mind, we will go ahead and vote on this item at this point. And it passes 2-1. Okay. Mark, would you continue on,
Sure,
please?
thank you. Under Wiley Post and Clarence Airport, item A is to approve addendas number 1 and 2 to replace the roof at Hangar 11, accepting the recommendation on the bids opened on June 24th and award the contract to Diversified Construction of Oklahoma for $135,600, approving the contract and bonds. This is for Wiley Post Airport. Item B is approve amendment number 1 to the contract for professional services with Howard & Associates for the General Aviation Field Maintenance Facility project, adding $158,000. This is for design at Wiley Post Airport. And last item C is to approve addendum number 1 for the airport beacon relocation project, accepting the recommendation for the bids opened on June 24th and awarding the contract to Libra Electric Company for $59,900, approving contract and bonds at Clarence E. Page Airport. That's all items, Mr. Chair, under General Aviation.
Okay. Is there a motion from the... Okay.
Second.
All right, we'll vote on this one. It's approved unanimously. Next are the general items.
Item A is to receive the delinquent accounts receivable report, construction project status report, and the budget to actual report as of June 30, 2014. And item B is approving supplement number 4 to the professional services agreement for financial advisor services with Public Financial Management, incorporating extending the term of their agreement for 1 year beginning on September 1st. That's all items under general.
Okay, thank you. We'll have a vote, a motion on this.
Move approval.
All right, thank you. And we'll vote on this one. And it's approved unanimously. Okay.
On to item 7, leases. Item A is to approve the assignment and assumption agreement, assigning the lease for a lease lot as a hangar site for the storage of privately owned aircraft from George or Charlene Ritchie to Robert or Ramona Ritchie, effective August the 12th. Item B is approving another assignment and assumption agreement, assigning the lease for a lease lot for the storage of privately owned aircraft from Teresa Childers, independent executrix, to the estate of Robert McKenzie to George or Nathan Ritchie, effective August 12th. Item C is approving the amendment of the solicitation and the modification contract with the Transportation Security Administration, extending for 1 year the term of the TSA's use of certain premises on the airport in support of the K-9 detection teams at Will Rogers. Item D is approving supplement number 6 to the fuel storage agreement with Glen Oil Company, extending the term of their agreement to access the fuel storage facility to obtain fuel for the Air National Guard. Item E is approving supplement use agreement number 8 with Ameriflight LLC, extending the term of their agreement for 1 year, also providing for advance written notice of landing fee changes. Item F is approving the supplement use agreement with number 9 with Martinair Aviation, also extending the term for 1 agreement and providing an advance written notice of landing fees. That's all the items this month under leases, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion on these items? Yes. Thank you. Okay, and the vote? It's approved unanimously. Thank you. Item number 8.
Request requisitions be approved.
Okay. Is there? All right. It's approved unanimously. Now, comments from trustees? Comments from staff? Comments from citizens? Hearing none.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll
Adjourn.
move for adjournment.
Thank you.